Week 3 in the NFL is here, baby. Let's freaking go. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back into another episode for Just a Bet Outside. I am your host, Steven, and week 3 has arrived, baby. NFL is back. When you have to wait a couple days, I just hate it. You know, that Monday to Thursday stretch is just not fun. So we are back to talk a lot of football. That's right. If you are new to the channel, we are 18 and 13, up 5.26 units through 2 weeks. It's been a good start, but we got a long ways to go. We got a lot of desperate 0-2 teams, that's for sure. They are playing this weekend, so we could have some weird things happen, but we'll see. For those of you that don't like to follow trends, because I know some of you just kind of roll your eyes at it, I love trends. We're going to get after it again today, but they went 9 and 4. If you just blindly followed all the trends I gave out last week, you would have won 9 and lost 4. So not too shabby. Also, NFL player props video is going to be out late Friday night, early Saturday morning. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've been crushing it on props, anytime touchdowns. It's been a lot of fun. But in this video, we got a lot to get into. Here we go. Here's the outline for the video. We're going to start out with week 3 trends. And boy, oh boy, do I got some good ones. I love it. I love researching that stuff. And then we got 3 best bets from OddsJam. That's right. Randall is back on. And then we're going to give you guys the best and worst run and pass defenses through 2 weeks in yards allowed, just so you guys have some help with your research. We're going to preview Thursday Night Football and give out 2 best bets for that game, that beauty between the Giants and the 49ers. Then we give out our week 3 best bets, both me and Ryan, and we finish it with me and Ryan's head-to-head bet. As always, I am 0-2 against them. I need to get my revenge, that's for sure. So we got a huge show for you today. I'm excited. Before we dig into anything, be sure to smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. We are off and rolling. This community is awesome. We are growing quickly. I appreciate all of you guys. So here we go. Let's start out with those week 3 trends. All right, let's go with one of my favorite segments of the week, the NFL week 3 trends. The first one's not really a trend, it's just a stat for you guys. Since the start of 1990, only 11.5% of NFL teams that started 0-2 have made the playoffs. I think 3 teams total that started 0-2 have won the Super Bowl. I think I saw that, so just FYI. Home teams through the first 2 weeks went 10, 20, and 2 against the spread. Not good at all. That home field advantage just isn't working out as well the last couple of years in the NFL. Road teams have not only won 19 against the spread, they have won 19 games straight up through the first 2 weeks. That is the most in the wild card era. And then we go to the team ones. Here we go. 49ers 13-2 against the spread last 15 home games. And then we know the next 2, Titans and Mike Vrabel. I mean, they just are absolutely dominant against the spread as an underdog, as a home underdog, you name it. They are good as underdogs. Ravens game, pretty interesting. Under in 10 of the last 11 home games. And 8 of those have never even reached 40 points. So that's interesting to look at. Patriots have won 4 straight games versus the Jets. They are the Jets' daddy and absolutely own them. Let's go to page number 2. And then we got some more. Look at all this. This is great, guys. Dolphins went under 7 of 8 home games last year. We talked a little bit about last week, but Lions home games have hit 51 or more points in 9 of the last 10. I think that spread is, or totals around 47, 48 against the Falcons. And then Chargers and Vikings are combined 35, 11, and 1 to the over after a loss since 2020. After a win, they're only 50%. So it is a big difference. The problem is they're playing each other. So good luck picking it, but I just wanted to point that out. And then the Saints have gone under in 11 of the last 12 games. Commanders under in 19 of the last 24. Don't you guys just love betting unders? That helps. And that 19 to 24 is home games for Commanders. Jags 1-10 against the spread. Last 11 as a home favorite. Raiders games, you see that. They play a lot of over games since they moved to Vegas for whatever reason. Well, the reason is bad defense, probably. And then the Eagles. If you guys like to bet who scores first in a game, some people like those angles. I think this is a good angle like we talked about last week. Eagles have scored first in 18 of the last 22 games. All right, this is page 3. Now, just a reminder to everybody, this is not the only thing you should use when you're making a bet. It just helps you. It should be a part of your handicap, but not the whole thing. So here we go. Seahawks 4-13 in the last 17 against the spread when they are a favorite of more than a field goal, which they are against the Panthers. Bears 6-15 against the spread. The last 21 as a road underdog. They were 10-plus point underdogs 3 times during that stretch, and they were 0-3 against the spread in those games, getting crushed. Browns 3-9 against the spread as a favorite in the last 12, and they are 3.5 point favorites over the Titans. And then this last one I had to put on here. Since 2015, 0-2 teams playing 2-0 teams in week 3 are 42, 27, and 1 against the spread, covering at 60.9% of the time. That's the Broncos, Carolina, Bears, and the Arizona Cardinals. So what that really tells you is these desperate teams, they come to play week 3. These teams don't just stay bad every single week. They're more desperate than these 2-0 teams. Maybe they've gotten unlucky and they shouldn't be 0-2, whatever it is. They have covered almost 61% of the time. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But those are the NFL week 3 trends. And now let's go check out the 3 best bets from OddsJam. All right, Randall is back from OddsJam. That's right, giving out some more best bets with positive EV. He gave out 6 last week and he went 4-2, so it was very successful. We now have 2 different promo codes to give you guys options to use. First promo code, Jabo25. If you use that, you get 25% off your first month if you sign up with OddsJam. Or if you just want to try it all out for 14 days for free, use Jabo14. You get a 14-day free trial. They usually only do 7. We got it. We talked about it. We're going to do a 14-day free trial. So use any of those that work best for you. But without further ado, let's kick it to Randall.
Hey, Steven, appreciate you having me on again. Profitable week 2. Cashed with the Seahawks, the Steelers, both outright. Talked about sprinkling the money line on both of those plays. One loser with the Jets, probably a bad play looking at it. Dallas definitely looks for real. So will not be stepping in front of them anytime soon. But going to go ahead and just jump right into it this week. I've got 3 games that I'm looking at this week that I like as well. And then I'm just going to share my projections really quickly with you guys. I do weekly projections for the NFL. So there's 4 plays that have a ton of value, none of which I'm going to give out here, but I'll give you those as well if you want to dig a little deeper into those. So first game that I'm looking at, Titans versus Browns. We all know what happened with Nick Chubb. Broken leg last night against the Steelers. So I think that's actually going to be a big loss. The Titans with a comeback win against the Chargers last week. Titans definitely kind of very under the radar. I think this was a team that was not expected to do much. They are 2-0 against the spread. Covered against the Saints, covered and then won outright against the Chargers. So I like the Titans this week. I think they can muck it up enough to get the win here. You can get +4 on Bookmaker right now as we're recording this, +3.5 on all of the other books. Would definitely just take the points here. Could see maybe Cleveland by 3, but do like the Titans in the points in that game. The second game that I'm looking at is the Bills and the Commanders. Bills with a pretty convincing win last week against the Raiders. I guess you could call it convincing, 30-10. Raiders obviously not very good. They're playing Washington with the comeback win against Denver. That was a game they were down 21-3. Came back on the road with the help of Russell Wilson and some turnovers. But I do like Washington here, +6.5. I just think it's too many points. I think this Washington team has a chance to win this game outright, and it's +6.5 on basically every book. Bills are going to be a very popular teaser leg, very popular money line parlay, and those are always kind of sides that I look to avoid or at least fade in those particular spots. So taking the Commanders here, plus the 6.5. And then the third game that I'm looking at, Atlanta versus Detroit. I mentioned this last week. Detroit was, on fire, running high with that win against the Chiefs. Lost outright to Seattle. Atlanta with the field goal late there against Green Bay. They're catching 3.5 right now at just about every book that's out there. I like the Falcons here. I think that they can go in and win this game. I think that we're going to see some regression here with Detroit. Detroit will be a good team to back here in a couple of weeks, I think. But I still think they're being overvalued. So like the Falcons here, plus the 3.5. So 3 official plays, Titans +4. Again, that's on Bookmaker right now, +3.5. Either way, we'll call it 3.5. Most popular books that are out there have that number. And then the Commanders plus 6.5 at every book, and then the Falcons plus 3.5, and that's at every book as well. So wanted to just jump in again. I said I had 4 plays here with some huge line discrepancies, and again, I don't know if my model's wrong. So I'm not betting these games. I'm going to look more into them, may possibly look to bet them. But the Jets, my numbers, I actually have the Jets -3. They're actually catching 3. So that's 6-point difference in that particular line. Baltimore is laying 8. I make Baltimore 13. So that game, that's actually one that I want to look more into. I think that one could definitely get out of hand. Seattle -9.5 is the line that I have. They're currently laying 5.5 or 6. And then Cincinnati is only laying 2 to the Rams. I make Cincinnati -6 with my numbers. So a couple more plays there. I say plays, a couple more leans, I guess, if you will, or just kind of some insight on my projections. So those 3 official plays from earlier, some four plays there with value, and then I'll leave you with a bonus college football play. Middle Tennessee State on the money line, -135. Like them a lot this week. Playing Colorado State off of an emotional loss at Colorado. I think they come out extremely flat. So like Middle Tennessee State this week as well, and we'll be on that also. So appreciate you having me on, Stephen.
Thanks, Randall. Appreciate you doing another video. Let's get some more winners. Reminder, promo code JABO25 for 25% off the first month, or JABO14 for that 14-day free trial. All right, it's time to talk some football. Let's get into the best and worst run and pass defenses. All right, here we go. We got 2 weeks of info now. So these are the top 10 best run defenses based on rush yards allowed. Not a lot of surprise there at the top, but the Eagles, Bucks, and Titans, those teams are known for stopping the run pretty well. 49ers as well. Some of these teams you're going to see later on that they have very bad pass defenses, so it's either one or the other. But yeah, Lions, Jaguars, Colts on the right side, Colts and Ravens go up against each other this weekend, and the Cowboys have just been playing good defense all around. So those are the top 10 best run defenses, just to kind of give you an idea. And also let me know what you guys think or what you guys want that might help your research. As we get going in the season, I'm going to talk about maybe some teams that put a lot of pressure on quarterbacks just to kind of help you out. Maybe some good matchups that way. But yeah, let's move on to the bottom 10 run defenses now. The Steelers have given up 386 rushing yards, and the other team in their division, the Bengals, at 384. It has just not been pretty. The Dolphins have also been a run funnel defense. And then other than that, maybe a few surprises that Patriots are giving up a lot of rush yards. Panthers, 264. Giants have just struggled in general for everything they do. Packers 333, which is kind of a surprise as well. And then the Vikings obviously just struggle all around. So those are the bottom 10 run defenses. Take a screenshot. Hopefully it helps you guys out with your research. Now let's kick it to the top 10 best pass defenses through week 2. And there we are. We got the Cowboys at 214. And you know what? It helps when you get a ton of freaking pressure on the quarterback. That is for sure. Falcons have done surprisingly well. 267 pass yards. They're getting a little bit more pass rush than they did last year and just playing a little bit better defense overall. And then the Browns, again, these teams in the top 10, you're going to notice they usually get a lot of pressure on quarterbacks. A surprising team is the Vikings, but they have given up a lot of points still, so they're still struggling. Panthers, Rams, nothing too big of a surprise. Panthers do have a pretty good pass defense thanks to a little bit of a pass rush. And then, Bengals, top 10 pass defense. Giants, they haven't played. Well, they did play the Arizona Cardinals last week, too. But yeah, anyways, that's the top 10 pass defenses. Let's move on to the bottom 10 pass defenses. Holy cow, guys. I mean, we just talked about how the Cowboys had 214 pass yards allowed as number one. The Chargers, 666 pass yards. Holy crap. Maybe look at some Kirk Cousins over passing yards props this week. That's for sure. But the Chargers, my goodness, they can't win this game. It's got to be time for Staley to kick it, to get out of LA. That's for sure. My Seahawks struggle. They can't get to the quarterback. People are wide open everywhere. 650 pass yards. Surprising is the Eagles. They've had some injuries in their secondary, and that does not help. But that's not what they were last year. That's for sure. Giving up 652 passing yards already this year. Other than that, Lions are still struggling on pass defense, like they have been for many, many years. And yeah, other than that, not too many surprises. Just like last year, Titans elite at stopping the run and struggle stopping the pass. So those are the bottom 10 pass defenses. That's what we got. Take a screenshot. Go get some help with your research. That's for sure. But again, leave a comment below. Let me know if there's any research help that would really just kind of give you guys more advice and help you out with some winning bets. That's what I'm here for. So, all right, that's all we got. It is now time for the Thursday night football preview and best bets. All right, Thursday night football takes us out to San Francisco as the Niners host the Giants. Niners are minus 10.5 point favorites, over under of 44 points. That's about as exciting as I can get for this game, guys. This is ugly, ugly, ugly. I probably wouldn't be making an official bet on it if it wasn't Thursday night football, but you know what? It's prime time. So I dug in deep and I got two best bets. But before we do, let's just preview it really quick. The Giants coming off a historic comeback in the second half last week. In the first 6 quarters of this season, the Giants were outscored 60-0. That's freaking horrendous. Absolutely terrible. No Saquon Barkley, as most of you know. That's going to hurt. They got two key injuries on the offensive line, and that O-line already sucked, so it's not going to be pretty. And the Niners, we know, they've looked as good as anybody in the league so far. The matchup I'm not interested to see because I already know how it's going to go, but the big, huge advantage for the Niners here, it's going to be in the trenches. The Giants O-line, they have allowed the highest pressure percentage on dropbacks. So when Daniel Jones is dropping back to pass it, they have allowed the most pressure in all of football. And one of those games was against the Cardinals, by the way. And that's at 58.4%. That's right. They are allowing 58% pressure on dropbacks. The 49ers have the fifth highest pressure rate at 30.6%. And now you add two injuries to the offensive line for the Giants, they are going to get just absolutely manhandled, in my opinion. It's going to be kind of like that Cowboys game. This Niners team, I know Thursday games can be weird, and as long as nobody's sluggish or anything like that, as long as the Niners come out to play like they have been, and the Giants blocking is the same way, I think the Niners are just going to put an incredible amount of pressure on the Giants. This game could get ugly. I'm not going to lie. So, but here we go. It's time. I know you're waiting for this. I got two best bets. The first one you're probably going to roll your eyes at, but I love it. We got a winner with it last week. Here we go. Jake Moody. Who is that, you ask? He is the kicker for the Niners. Over 2.5 PATs. Those are extra points. We got this winner with the Lions kicker pretty easily last week. I think it's a good little market to dig into. Now it's juiced at minus 135, but I love it so incredibly much. I still think that's not right. I think it should be over 3.5 at like even money or something. But over 2.5. Here's what that means: the Niners have to score 3 touchdowns. I'm pretty sure they can score 3 touchdowns against the Giants. I'm pretty sure the Niners defense might score a touchdown on their own with an interception return for a touchdown, a sack fumble, whatever it is that they want to do. They're going to create some turnovers. The team total for the 49ers is at 27.5. That's the book saying they're going to score at least 3, maybe 4 touchdowns in this game. And then Moody has to actually make them when they score touchdowns. He is 6 for 6 in field goals, 6 for 6 in PATs so far this year. So I just don't understand why it's decently valued at minus 135 for him to just kick 3 extra points after 3 touchdowns. Seems pretty easy to me. If you can't get that, I also like his over field goal prop. He's hit 3 field goals in each of the first 2 games, so that's not a bad one either. But other than that, guys, I can't break down a kicker prop anymore. That's what we got. Jake Moody of the Niners over 2.5 PATs is my best bet. Now, my second bet. Like I said, this game is ugly. I had to get a little creative with this bet. It's a 3-legger same game parlay. Hopefully, you guys can get this. If not, I kind of like the original lines of all of these as well. So here we go. First leg: Christian McCaffrey 50 plus rush yards. Daniel Jones 25 plus rush yards in the 49ers money line. Put that together, you get plus 100 on FanDuel. McCaffrey, 50 plus yards. He can do this in his sleep, guys. I think he's going to get 100. I'm going to be honest. He has 116 and 152 in the first 2 weeks, getting 6.4 yards per carry. And the Giants have given up 273 rush yards, as we just saw, 26th in the NFL. 50 plus rush yards is like, it's nothing. As long as he stays healthy, there's no problem with that bet at all. Daniel Jones, 25 plus rush yards. His line is closer to 40. I took it down to 25 plus. He has 43 and 59 in the first 2 weeks, and now there's no Saquon Barkley. I'm going to be honest. The only way the Giants can even move the ball, I think, is first of all they have to block, but they're not going to block very well. Is Daniel Jones has to use his legs, and he's done it many times before. He is a good runner. he is going to get pressured a lot. He's going to need to get out of the pocket and start moving with his legs because he's not going to beat the Niners just by passing the ball with not much of a run game with the backup running back. So I think he's going to run a ton. Jones 25 plus rush yards should not be that big of a problem. He was over in like 12 of 18 games or something last year, so it's pretty easy. And the 49ers money line, I mean, do I need to? If you want to be really ballsy, just take the 49ers minus 10.5, honestly, because they're probably going to cover. Or maybe take it down to 6.5 or something just to make it a little more juicy. Do whatever you want to do. This is just my parlay. Hopefully, you guys get some ideas from it. You don't obviously have to copy or tail it exactly. So, 49ers are going to dominate the line of scrimmage and dominate just absolutely everywhere. Brandon Ayuk, I know, might not play for the Niners. Does that really matter? Absolutely not. So, I love the Niners to put a beat down on the Giants with the Daniel Jones 25 plus rush yards, Christian McCaffrey 50 plus rush yards for plus 100 on FanDuel. Those are my two bets for Thursday night football. And now it's time, baby. I can't wait. Let's talk our week 3 best bets. And it starts out with Ryan.
All right, it's time to bounce back. I went 0-2 last week in the best bets. I did beat Steven in the head-to-head, so that's good, but I got to win some of these best bets. Now, let's talk this game in Green Bay. It's the Saints taking on the Packers. Packers -2, over-under 42.5 points. And now my best bet. We're going to go with the under 42.5 points at -105. The Saints defense, man, they have really been just killing it lately. Getting after the quarterback, playing great pass defense, all of that. Now, their pass defense, a rating of 57.5, second in the league, only allowing 5.2 yards per attempt, which is fourth in the league. Just unreal. They're playing Jordan Love. Still nothing special. Last week, he threw 3 touchdown passes, but his yards, 151 yards. That's not great. I mean, you got to be able to move the ball against the Saints defense and those things to get over a 42.5, which it seems like it's pretty high against an offense that is struggling. The Packers also, Christian Watson, he's questionable. A.J. Dillon really struggled running the ball last week. He really needs Aaron Jones, and it's looking like Aaron Jones is going to be doubtful for this game coming up, and he's just a huge weapon catching the ball out of the backfield, running, all of those things. The Packers defense has also played pretty well this entire season. They haven't faced really anything special offensively, and the Saints, they're nothing special offense either. Derek Carr last week, dink and dunk all the way down the field. Plus, their number 2 running back, Jamal Williams, got hurt in that game, and Tony Jones is now the starter. So Tony Jones, practice squad, third string, he's going to have to play big time for the Saints to do anything. But they just, don't move the ball very well. And now, Saints pass rush also, man, they get after the quarterback, and Jordan Love is just really going to struggle. I can see it being way under the 42. I mean, not way under, but a good portion under the 42.5 points. So that's my first best bet. 42.5 points under at -105. Let's go take a look at bet number 2. I am going with a moneyline parlay for bet number 2. I got the Buffalo Bills and the Seattle Seahawks both to win their game at -104. The Buffalo Bills are taking on the Washington Commanders. Come on. They're 2-0, but they've played 2 really bad teams. Sam Howell done some decent things, but this Bills team is just, they're playing at a different level. They figured out their rhythm against the Raiders last week. Josh Allen threw for 274 yards, 3 touchdowns, a quarterback rating of 124.5. James Cook got it going on the ground, 123 yards, 7.2 yards per carry. Last week, the Commanders, they even struggled to stop Russell Wilson. Russ threw for 300 yards, and now they're playing Josh Allen, who's in the rhythm, has Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, the tight ends, and they just really got it going. So I need the Bills to win that one against the Commanders, and now the Seattle Seahawks are going to be taking on the Panthers. Need that one to win as well. Panthers, Bryce Young struggled as a rookie quarterback, and now he's going into Lumen Field where the 12s are going to be extremely loud. Seahawks are coming off of a big win against the Lions, so the 12s can really hype it up, and Bryce Young is not going to know what to do with that crowd noise. Also, the Carolina Panthers, we've said it since week 1, even before. They needed some weapons for Bryce Young on the outside, and he just doesn't have any. The receivers aren't getting separation, and it's just a struggle. Seahawks run defense, they've given up a decent amount of yards, but yards per carry has actually been much better than they were last year. So if that's all the Panthers can do is turn around and hand the ball off to Miles Sanders and the other backs in the backfield, that's just not a good sign. Like, it's not. You need some weapons on the outside. Seahawks defense might be without Tariq Woolen, but Witherspoon stepped up. They got some other pieces. So I'm liking the Seahawks to be able to slow down this Panthers offense. And now the Seahawks offense might be out without DK Metcalf. He's got a rib thing going on. Signs are showing that he can play, but I'm not sure if that really matters. These weapons for the Seahawks, they got weapons all over the place. Tyler Lockett, Noah Fant, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Kenneth Walker. They just got weapons all around. Geno Smith now last week, I mean, he dominated against the Lions. He threw for 328 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 116.3 quarterback rating. Getting the ball out quick. They're still potentially without their 2 left tackles. It didn't matter against the Lions. I think they found a recipe, to move the ball down the field. They'll be able to do play action, all those things, just to balance attacking offense. So give me the Seahawks and the Bills to both win the money line parlay at -104. Now, Steven, let's hear your bets.
All right, my first bet is going to be going back to the well like we did last week. It is a 6-point teaser. I'm going Falcons +9, Steelers +8.5. That's -120 on DraftKings. So for those of you that are new to teasers, I'm adding 6 points to the team I want, and that's what you get. You want to take it through key numbers like 4, 6, 7, and that's what we're doing with these two. So here we go. Falcons +9 going up against the Lions. Lions are just crushed with injuries right now, guys. DN Justin Houston out for a long time, actually. Gardner Johnson, their starting DB, out. David Montgomery, their starting running back, is questionable, more than likely out. Wide receiver and stud Amon-Ra St. Brown is questionable. Left tackle Decker, not looking good to play. Right guard Vaitai, I have no idea how to pronounce it. He's out. And DB Emmanuel Mosley is out. Guys, they're just getting absolutely demolished right now. So the Falcons, a surprising 2-0 team. They have probably the best running attack in the NFL, and they commit to it. I mean, they were losing by 2 scores in the second half last week, and they still ran the ball over 30 times to their running backs. They know their identity, and they do it. The problem with the Lions right now, they only have a half a sack through 2 weeks. That's just not good. Aiden Hutchinson needs to pick it up. They're getting some pressure, but they're just not getting in there for some sacks. Lions, against this good running offense, by the way, for the Falcons, they're average right now. So, I mean, I don't think it's going to be anything that slows them down. And I just like the way that the Falcons can control the game with their running game, control the clock a little bit. And then what the Lions do struggle with, as you saw earlier in this video, is they cannot stop the pass very well. And I do know that the biggest weakness for the Falcons is their quarterback. I'm not a huge Desmond Ridder fan, but he just needs to get the job done this game. He doesn't need to just dominate. He just needs to make sure he takes care of the ball. I do believe because of this secondary that's absolutely crushed with injuries right now, I think Michael Pitts. I think Kyle Pitts, Drake London, and Bijan Robinson are just going to have great games. First of all, Bijan is the man. If you listen to me, you know I love Bijan. So I think London's going to have some chances to have a really big game. Lions have given up 537 yards. Don't have a ton of pressure on quarterbacks, like I mentioned with the sacks, injuries, blah blah blah. I just love the Falcons to stay close in this one. They only have to lose by 8 or less for me to hit. And by the way, if you push on a teaser, it's considered a loss. So if the Falcons lose by 9, this is considered a loss. So I just need them to stay within 8 or less points. I think they got a chance to win, to be honest with you. But that's my first leg. Second leg is the Steelers +8.5 against the Raiders on Sunday Night Football. Do we think the Raiders can beat anybody by 9+ points? Because I definitely don't. Raiders, Josh Jacobs last week. How about this line? 9 carries for -2 yards. -2. There's probably some guys out there saying if you ran it 9 times, you'd probably get better than -2. You just fall forward, right? I mean, that's pretty bad. I'm not sure the Raiders can take advantage of the one weakness the Steelers have shown in the run defense, but because you're not going to really beat them in the pass defense. Steelers are one of the best pressure rate teams at getting to the quarterback, thanks to the man, TJ Watt. And Jimmy G's just not capable of big plays at all. He's just not a guy that just pushes the ball downfield a lot. He's going to have to kind of dink and dunk intermediate throws. And, I don't know if you could do that all the way down the field when you got the Steelers all over your butt in the backfield. Steelers have faced, this is the crazy part to me right here. So far, the Steelers have faced 2 of the top 5 defenses in regards to pressuring the quarterback. Okay, and the 49ers and the Browns, 2 teams that just absolutely get after the quarterback. Guess where the Raiders are? Dead last in pressure rate on quarterbacks, 10.5%. I mean, it is bad. The Raiders can't get any pressure on a quarterback right now. So this is going to be the most comfortable game for Kenny Pickett so far this year because he's just been hounded by the Browns and the 49ers. And also the highest pressure team is the Steelers. Lowest pressure team is the Raiders. So I mean, we're talking about two completely different offenses or defenses. I just love this matchup. I'm going to be honest. I think the Steelers win this game. I'll gladly take plus 8.5. If you want to do just the Steelers money line as a nice underdog, these two teams I'm taking, Steelers and Falcons. I think both have a chance to win the game outright. So give me the Falcons. Give me the Steelers in a 6-point teaser as my first best bet. And let's move on to the next game. All right, my next bet takes us out to East Rutherford, New Jersey. We got the New York Jets hosting the New England Patriots. Patriots minus 2.5, over under of 36.5 points. My best bet in this game is the Patriots minus 2.5. That's right. I got that at minus 115 on FanDuel. Some books have 3. I was glad to take the 2.5. Now, Zach Wilson against Bill Belichick in this Patriots team. He is 0-4 straight up and 0-4 against the spread. Like I mentioned in the trends page, the Patriots are the Jets' daddy. They have won 14 straight games against the Jets. That is pretty freaking impressive. The Jets, they are a team that relies on the running game. They just have to because Zach Wilson's not very good. We all know that. And Brees Hall, he's nursing that injury. I think he's just having some load management. He should be good to play. But the Patriots are going to do what they always do. They're going to load up the box and they're going to stop this run offense and make Zach Wilson beat them. And that's going to be tough to do because the Patriots have very good cornerbacks. I know Garrett Wilson's out there, but again, it's Zach Wilson throwing to him. He will make mistakes. And I just don't see, when I watched the Patriots last week, they did slow down Tua in this passing game. They did pretty well. They played like this umbrella type defense and just kept him in the field. You know what? And that's the adjustments they make. Now, here's the deal. They got run all over in that game by Raheem Mostert, but that's only because they were so worried about the pass. They're not worried about the pass. I think they trust their DBs and their defensive line and defense in general against Zach Wilson. He's not going to get a lot of big plays down the field. I don't think he's going to have a ton of time. This Jets offense is not very good, guys. They need Aaron Rodgers badly. Zach Wilson's not good. As long as the Patriots can slow down Brees Hall and just contain this run offense, I love the Patriots to roll again. I think Ramondre Stevenson has a good game against this Jets team. And I think the Patriots win by 3 or more and continue the hot streak against the Jets. So give me the Patriots minus 2.5 as my final best bet. And now let's move on to that head-to-head bet between me and Ryan. All right, here we go. It's time to get serious, guys, because I may be winning a lot of my bets in the first 2 weeks. It doesn't really matter when I keep losing my freaking head-to-head bet with Ryan. So it's time to get a freaking winner. And like the trends say, any team that's 0-2 playing a 2-0 team covers 61% of the time. That relates to me right now. So here we go. Here is our head-to-head bet. It's between the Broncos and the Dolphins. I am taking the Broncos +7. Ryan has the Dolphins -7. He's being nice enough. Some books had 7, and then it started going down to 6.5. Because he feels sorry for me, and I'm 0-2, he is going to give me that half point to make sure I have the 7. So I will gladly take the 7. That's for sure. We may push, but you know what? I'm going to talk first. I need this win, guys. This makes me uncomfortable. And sometimes you have to feel uncomfortable in betting, but taking the Broncos is hard because I make fun of Russell Wilson all the time. The man looks like he's 58 years old. He had a play where he had a fumble and he didn't even try to get the ball. I don't know what his deal is, but he's actually played decently well with Sean Payton as his coach now on offense. But here's Sean Payton. This is the crazy part. I just heard this. He is the second most profitable coach in the NFL in the last 20 years as an underdog, behind Mike Tomlin. That's pretty freaking impressive. This is the situation where we have an 0-2 very desperate team playing a 2-0 team like we talked about before. No Jalen Waddle, more than likely, for the Dolphins, which is huge. That is huge. That is a deep play threat. I know they have Tyreek Hill still, but this is a flat spot for the Dolphins. They got a big game against the Bills, I believe, next week. This is kind of a sandwich spot after primetime television last week. Now they play an 0-2 Broncos team that wants it a lot more, that's for sure. So, you know what? This Broncos team could very well be 2-0. I know it's Oakland and Washington. I can't believe they lost it. But now they get to go on the road. They get away from the home crowd and all the expectations. Now they go on the road as an underdog. If this team was 2-0, which they lost by 1 point to the Oakland team, Las Vegas Raiders. I keep saying Oakland, and then they barely lost in that crazy game to the Washington Commanders. What if the Broncos were 2-0 right now? This spread would probably be like 3 or 4. I think we're getting a lot of line value here, getting 7. So give me the Broncos +7. Stay within it. Sean Payton, desperate underdog. Come on, Sean, come through for me. What do you think,
I,
Ryan?
I can't believe it. As much as you bash on Russ and how
I know.
not great he's been playing, and you're still doing this, come on. They almost lost to the Commanders by 8. And Sam Howell threw for 299 yards against the Broncos defense. Tua, who is like leading the league in like MVP voting, not MVP voting, but has like a really good chance of winning MVP. I know weather's going to stay hot. It looks good now. See what happens when the weather changes. But right now, it's still warm. So that offense is going to be smoking hot still. Raheem Mostert shows that he can run the football. I mean, come on. Like, they almost lost by 8 to the Commanders. It took a Hail Mary. Russell Wilson barely threw it 50 yards. It got hit twice. Then it falls into a dude's hand. I mean, and that was the Commanders. They're not that great of a team. They're scrappy, and they almost beat them by 8. Um, Come on. What are you thinking with this Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos? I don't get it.
Who wants who wants this game more and who's more desperate? It's not
You
even close, right? It's
you
Denver.
want this game
Listen, I
more.
told you. Yes, well, badly. But this makes me super uncomfortable. I'm telling you right now. Everybody and their mother likes the Dolphins. By the way, the sharps, the pros, are on the Broncos side. The Joes, the average public guy, they are on the Dolphins side. I like being on the sharp side, but I will say Sean Payton in this offense looks much better than last year. We all know that. The defense is worrying me a little bit for sure. Without
Mhm.
Jalen Waddle, I think that could be huge. If he is not playing, and it's just Tyreek Hill, it does change how they play. I just need the Broncos defense to just hang in there because I think their offense will have no problem scoring. I don't think the Dolphins defense is very good. I'm going to be honest with you. I think they're a little overrated. So I
Yeah.
don't think that the Broncos will have a hard time scoring. I just hope they can slow down the Dolphins enough to stay within 7. So
No, Howell threw it to everybody. Tua kind of does that too with Tyreek Hill. It's they got to figure
you
out how
can't
to.
judge everything on one team. No, you can't. Some teams give up 300 yards to Sam Howell and then turn the next week and slow down Tua. It just happens. Um, you know what? I'm taking it. Broncos +7. Leave a comment below. Hash Brown Team Steven. If you want to put Hash Brown Team Ryan, you can, but I need some support on this 0-2 side, please, because I'm freaking sick of losing to him. I have to hear about it all week. I need it. Team Steven, Broncos +7. For those people that feel like being uncomfortable and betting on an 0-2 team against a 2-0 Dolphins team, come to my side. Let's start a freaking winning streak. I just want to win 16 in a row. That's all I'm asking. It's not that much. So there it is. Broncos +7 for me. Dolphins -7 for him. Hash Browns Team Steven, Hash Brown Team Ryan, whatever you want to do. So that was a ton of fun. That was our week 3 best bets video. Let's go check out that bets recap. All right, there it is, guys. Those are the best bets for week 3. Starting out with Thursday Night Football, Mr. Moody over 2.5 point after touchdowns at -135. Then we got a little same game parlay, CMC 50 plus rush yards, Jones 25 plus rush yards, and 49ers money line at +100 on FanDuel. And then I got my 6 point teaser again with the Falcons +9 and Steelers +8.5 for -120. And then end it with the Patriots -2.5 to show the Jets who their daddy really is at -115. Then Ryan's got the under 42.5 in the Saints and Packers game at -105. And then the Bills and Seahawks moneyline parlay at -104. And then, of course, we end it with the head to head bet Broncos +7 for me, Dolphins -7 for him. Don't worry about the record on the right side. That won't last long. But that is our head to head bet. Those are our week 3 best bets. Remember, it's only Wednesday right now. Last week I added a money line parlay and we hit it. So if I have any added bets, it will be in the Discord. It will be in the pinned comments below. As the week goes on, injuries kind of shake out. There might be another bet I'm having. So if you're into player props, our player prop video will be out late Friday night, early Saturday morning. It's going to be a ton of fun. Give out some more research help. We went 3-1 on player props last week, and 2-1 on anytime touchdowns. So we're going to give all that out again, and we're going to finish the week strong. So that's what we got. Thank you guys for the support. Just a reminder, no baseball video for Thursday, but we will be back for the Friday games as we are on a 9-2 run in the MLB. Thank goodness. But thanks. Hope everyone has a great rest of the week. We'll talk to you later.